Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Right now I'm trying to dial in for the first time, the Breville Bambino Plus. Right, this is a pretty new machine to me. Right, first I'm using this as a replacement until I get my Breville Barista Pro repaired. Right, first we add about 1.5 liters of water into the water tank. I actually tried to remove the water tray at the back, but as this is my first time, I'm not too sure whether the water tank can actually be removed, but I think it can be removed in the instruction manual. Right, so first of all we will do the initial flushing. Right, I started flushing the steam wand first, so you just have to press the and hold the steam button and the flushing will begin. Right, next we'll flush the group head. Right, the same thing, we press and hold the single shot button right until the group head started to flush water. Right, you may want to get a cup ready to put it below the group head because it actually gives up a lot of water. So the drip tray on the Bambino Plus is pretty small, so to avoid overflowing, it's better to have a cup below when you do the initial
Round
flushing.
one.
So the first time I'm trying out the beans. Right, I actually use 18 grams of beans because I usually do double shots. So for the first grind setting, I'm actually using the Smart Grinder Pro at a grind size of 5 because I thought 5 is good for Espresso. It works on my Breville Barista Pro. I thought it would work on the Bambino Plus as well. So that's the first try that I had. Right, I'm not too sure whether this 3D funnel that I designed actually works on the Smart Grinder Pro, so I'm just going to give it a try. Right, with the silicone holder in place, it seems a bit difficult to engage the grinder. So for the first try, I'm using the bottomless portafilter. I'm actually quite adventurous. I'm not even sure whether I can get a good extraction, but I just give it a try, right, on my bottomless. Right, as my usual habit of making espresso, I usually will distribute the coffee with a distributor. Then I will use the given temper to give you a temp. A light temp will do, right, on the distributor at the ground. Right, I think the bottomless portafilter that I had is a bit tight fit on the Bambino Plus. So later I'm going to try it with the portafilter that comes with the Barista Pro to see whether it fits. Well, as you can see, across the grind size is not correct, or maybe I didn't temp enough, so the coffee is channeling everywhere, and the coffee is like squirting air all over the place and causing such a mess on my desktop. Right, so let me do a cleanup and show you how the coffee looks like. Right, the coffee has very weak crema. Right, and it doesn't look good. I taste a bit. It's not sour, but it doesn't have the depth. Right. Alright, let's go for another try. And this time round, the only thing that I'm switching over will be instead of using the bottomless, I'm using the portafilter that comes with the Barista Pro, and see whether the portafilter actually causes any difference. Right, so this is it.
Round
the
2.
The portafilter that comes
Ready,
with
go!
The Barista Pro. Same thing, I'm using the non-pressurized double basket. Right, same setting. 18 grams of beans, grind setting of 5 on the Smart Grinder Pro. Right, same thing, just going to do, after grinding the beans, I'm just going to distribute and temp the same as before on the first time. Right, this time round I didn't use the 3D printer funnel, dosing funnel, so you can see that yeah, but I try to avoid having these coffee grounds splitting up. So after the ground, I actually place my funnel on top before I do the tapping, so that the ground can settle more evenly to the bottom of the portafilter. Right, and as my habit, I usually use my finger to cup the ground more evenly over the surface, right, before I actually use a distributor to level it. Right, Right, same thing, I'm just doing a temp. I wouldn't say this is a light temp, but it's same strength as before. I tried. As you can see that the Bambino is actually rather light, and I couldn't get used to the weight of this machine. Right, so whenever I lock the portafilter in place, the Bambino will always move by itself. Not move by itself. It will always be you'll get moved around. Right, it's not as stable as the heavier machine. So the second extraction, right? I think the grind size is too fine, and hence you can see that only a few drips of coffee is coming out. So the next round, I'm going to change the grind size. Right, as the usual practice, before I make coffee, I usually will warm up the portafilter by doing a single blind shot to heat up the portafilter as well as the group head. And at the same time, if I place my cup below, it will warm the cup as well. So I think it's always good to heat up or to warm up your portafilter and the group head before you start. You can see that the drip tray is almost full, so I'm just going to do a little demo how I empty the water in the drip tray. It's actually quite easy. Remove the cover and slide the drip tray out from the machine. It's a pretty nice and cute water tray, right? Drip tray, and dry the station up right before we slide the drip tray back to its position.
Round 3.
Right,
Ready, go!
I'm going to increase the grind size to 3, and I will only be distributing and without any tamping. So let's see how it goes to see whether I can get a better extraction. Same thing, 18 grams of beans, right? The only thing that I change is the grind size and without tamping. Right, this is a new dosing funnel that I made. It's made of rubber material, right? So it's able to flex, but it doesn't really work with the Smart Grinder Pro though. I will see how I can modify the 3D design to make it work. As you can see, I'll just be doing the distributing and with a distributor, and I'll not be tamping ground this time. Right, as usual, I'll cup the coffee ground to the center with my finger before I distribute it. Okay, let's see how the extraction looks this time. Right, you can see that the extraction is still quite bad. It's over extracted. There's only a few drops of coffee coming out. Slightly better than the previous attempt, but this is far from acceptable. Right, so we're gonna go for another try.
KO! Winner is...
Right, in the fourth attempt, the only thing I'm going to change is the grind size. I'm increasing the grind size to 15 on the Smart Grinder Pro, and I think we should get a better shot this time, definitely. Right, we are still using 18 grams of beans, and again, we only do distribution and we don't do any tamping. And let's see how the extraction goes this time. Okay, let's take a closer look at the extraction and see how the extraction is this time. Oh yeah! We are finally getting good extraction. It's much better than the previous 3 attempts. The coffee flows much smoother, and it flows like honey, right? And we should be able to move on to froth some milk. And what nice about this Bambino, it has an auto milk frother, which means I just have to put the milk jug on